Vergil Ortiz is back. Knockout. TKO. Destroyed Michael Mckinson's body as expected. What was not expected is for Vergil Ortiz to go into the ninth round. As they were mentioning on the broadcast, this is the first time that he had ever gone into the ninth round. He had never gone past the eighth round. And there it is. That's like the only moral victory that Michael Mckinson could walk away with. Is that, he's the first man to take Vergil Ortiz into the ninth round, past the eighth. But I mean, Vergil, yeah, he was gone. He had not fought for a whole year. Got sick in March when he was supposed to fight the same guy, Mckinson. And he's back. He looks the same. He looks just as good. He really pushed for it. He went for it, man, with around the seventh round. That's when he was pushing for it more for the knockout. He started off a little slow. I mean, by his terms, a little slow because he was still throwing those thudding shots, man, hard shots. So there it is. He's back into the picture. A lot of people were talking shit when he got sick in March and he pulled out of the fight. A lot of people were speculating that he was not even a welterweight anymore, that it was hard for him to make weight. Well, he silenced everybody. Look at that. He looked like he went back to looking normal. He made weight like nothing, and he looked sensational. So there he is. He's still a top welterweight, and he's still at every single fight he has won has been by knockout. Let's see, how many fights is he at now? I think he's 19-0. So 19 fights, 19 knockouts. All he's waiting for is a shot now. He needs a shot, but we already know the welterweight picture with Spence and Crawford, still trying to figure it out. So there's that. And that's what they asked him today after the fight, and that's what he said. I mean, he really can't do anything. He knows that Terence Crawford is tied up. They asked him about Crawford specifically because he was there at the fight today. So, I mean, he's tied up. We'll see what happens. And then on top of that, those guys are over there in PBC, most of the good welterweights, and he's over here on DAZN with Golden Boy. So it's like, it's going to be kind of hard for him to get a title shot. Even the WBA regular is held by a guy that fights on PBC. Stanios. I always forget his name. You know who I'm talking about. Mantis Stanios, something like that. He's over there with PBC too, so he can't even get a hold of that WBA regular at least. So, I mean, it's the same thing for Jaron Boots, Ennis. Same thing. Just got to be, they got to wait, see what happens with the Crawford and Spence thing. So, I mean, it would be nice. I mean, Boots versus Ortiz. But, I mean, like I said, one's in PBC and the other one's over here with Golden Boy. We already know the relationship between both of them. I mean, they're trying to figure out, PBC's trying to figure out how to work over here with DAZN and Golden Boy for the fucking Tank Davis fight and Ryan Garcia. So, I mean, that's one big fight. And they're still trying to figure that out. So I don't see any other fights going down between Golden Boy and PBC. And this would be it. Like Jaron Boots Ennis against Vergil Ortiz or any other welterweight. They're all over there with PBC. Toros on Instagram. Saludos, viejo. Alex on Instagram is talking about Ortiz versus Cody Crowley. Next would be a solid fight. So yeah, I mean, he has to be looking in other directions right now. Like, I mean, I don't know what Crawford was doing there today at the fight. What was he doing there? I mean, Ortiz has called him out in the past. And now he shows up at one of his fights. Is he already looking somewhere else? I'm telling you guys, man, that Spence Crawford negotiations, man, they hit a snag already. Steven Espinosa himself came out saying it this week. It hit a snag. So it's like they're really not going anywhere right now. It almost feels like the negotiations are at pause, or maybe someone's about to walk away. Well, we already know who was the diva making all those B-side demands was Crawford, and now we see him at the fight, at the Ortiz fight. Is he already looking another direction? And I mean, Crawford's already a free agent. He could go anywhere. He could go to DAZN and fight Ortiz. That would be some bullshit for the boxing fans because we want to see Spence versus Crawford, obviously. But shit, if Crawford ducks Spence, he keeps ducking him and he walks away from the negotiations, this would be a good fight against Vergil Ortiz. I mean, Vergil Ortiz could probably kick his ass, man. Who knows? It'll be a competitive fight against fucking Crawford. But no, no, no. That would be a great fight if Spence versus Crawford had already happened. They already tangled. Yes, there you go. Vergil Ortiz against either one of them. Ennis Boots against either one. Yeah, those are good fights. But nah, nah, nah. That fucking Spence Crawford fight got to happen first. That one has to happen first. So it was just kind of weird that he was there. And Ortiz has called him out on the past. Yeah, and then the co-main event, I caught a little bit at the end. Marlena Esparza looked like she dominated. I didn't see any of the fights before that. We had Blair Cobbs. I was hoping he would lose again. And he looks like he just fought an out of shape, not determined Maurice Hooker because he had all that success in the world. He beat Maurice Hooker by dropping his ass 3 times, I think. So what Maurice Hooker showed up, I have no idea. And I'm disappointed because I am not a fan of Blair Cobbs at all. Everybody knows why. He been talking out of his ass for a while. And he's coming off a beating. So I thought he was going to lose again now to Maurice Hooker, but it didn't go that way. So yeah, I'll be watching those undercard fights later on. As usual, Saturday night, got home a little late while the broadcast was going on, so I didn't catch all of them. But I caught the whole main event. That was good. I mean, it was turning out to be a little boring fight in the middle rounds because Mckinson was like on his bike. He was getting hurt. He was getting banged up to the body. He had more success in the beginning, Mckinson. He was, standing there going toe to toe with him at times and then moving around. But he had to get on his bike because those body shots were coming and coming. Because yeah, like Vergil Ortiz even said at the end when he dropped them in the first time, he didn't even shoot that hard. He didn't even punch him that hard. But he got to one of those spots that he had already been brutalizing. He was already fucking him up to the body the whole fight. And that's where the whole trouble began for Mckinson. Yeah, Troy on Instagram is saying that Blair Cobbs improved a little bit. Well, I don't know. By the looks of it, man, it looked like he fought Maurice Hooker was like not there to fight, man. Because we all know Maurice Hooker in the past, ex-world champion. He's a really good fighter. And for somebody like Blair Cobbs to have that much success on him, I don't know, man. I got to see that fight, man. Yeah, so he silenced everybody with not making weight and getting sick. Well, not making weight was not the issue. He got sick on fight week. He pulled out of the fight in March. So yeah, I was beginning to think too that maybe he's not gonna be able to make 147 anymore. And he's not even a big 147 pounder. So where are you gonna go? You gonna go to 154? Nah, then you're gonna be too small. So I guess he was sick. Because look at that. He made the weight. He looked good and performed at a high level. So there it is. He silenced everybody on that notion. Yeah, you see, Alex is talking about on Instagram that Maurice Hooker needs to hang up the gloves that he's washed up. I don't know. I got to see the fight, but just by what I heard, that's what it looks like. Because how is somebody like Blair Cobbs gonna have that much success on you? The law is talking about on Instagram is talking about Ortiz is not ready for the big dogs just yet. Yes, he is. He's more than ready. He's been ready. That's a bad man right there. That's a killer right there. He's been ready. If he ain't ready, then Jaron Ennis, Boots Ennis ain't ready either because Vergil Ortiz is 19-0 with 19 knockouts, and he has a better resume, better opposition than Jaron Ennis Boots. So, I mean, if you're going to say Vergil Ortiz ain't ready for the big dogs, then Boots ain't neither. He's more far off then because look at that 19 wins and 19 knockouts, and he's got better opposition, Vergil Ortiz, than Boots. I think they're both ready. They've been ready. Both of them are ready for the big dogs. They're ready for each other too. You know how it is. Politics comes into play. The other two kind of holding up the division because we're waiting and waiting to see if they're going to fight each other, Spence and Crawford. I mean, can you imagine if Vergil Ortiz was in PBC? He wouldn't have to be waiting for Crawford and Spence to see where they go. He could just start banging it up, banging it against anybody else over there. Thurman, Jaron Boots. That'd be so awesome. But I think I haven't heard anything about his contract with Golden Boy. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't sound like it's coming to an end. Look like he's tied up right there for a while. But he's gonna have to realize that he's probably gonna have to get out of there. Get out of Golden Boy, get out of the zone. Be a free agent or go sign with PBC because that's where all the welterweights are at. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Alex on Instagram is talking about Maurice Hooker's punch resistant is gone. Yeah, I mean, so it was that kind of fight, right? Because he was dropped 3 times by Blair Cobbs. Come on, man. Yeah, your punch resistant is gone, you're washed up. Your legs are gone. If you were a mobile fighter, you're washed up. So your power is gone, and you were known as a power puncher, then you're washed up. Things like that, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Vergil Ortiz versus Montana Love would be a good fight too. Alex is talking about on Instagram. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, Montana Love, isn't he fighting at I think he's fighting at 140. Well, yeah, if he's missed weight here and there, so he's kind of up and down. But yeah, maybe I don't know. But I don't know if he's ever fought all the way up at 147. Because they were even talking about Ryan Garcia, who fights. Well, he fights at 140 now. Ryan Garcia versus Montana Love, probably. So yeah, he's not that far off, I guess. But I don't think Montana Love's fought that high up to 147. And we already know Vergil Ortiz ain't going down lower than 147. That's for sure. Yeah, Saint on Instagram is talking about Vergil Ortiz versus Cobbs next. Well, there you go. That's where Blair Cobbs is fighting, right? 147. So maybe they'll set that up while they're waiting for, to see what happens with Crawford and Spence. The law is asking me if I think Ortiz beats Spence or Crawford. I think he has a better chance of beating Crawford because I think Spence would beat Crawford. But I think he's ready for both of them. It'll still be a competitive fight, even if he loses to both of them. It'll be a good close fight where he even hurts the other guy. He belongs there. He belongs there. He's him and Boots. Boots too. Boots will probably beat either one, Crawford or Spence, or it'll be a competitive fight where he, gets his licks in. It's a competitive fight. I mean, those are good fights right there. Those kids are ready. So yeah, Northside Latina's asking me that. Yeah, Vergil or Bud, who you got? I was just saying that I think Vergil would have a better chance at beating Crawford than Spence. But I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford ends up beating Vergil. But it wouldn't be like, like a clinic or knocked them out quick and made it look easy. Fuck no. This is a dog right here. Vergil Ortiz is a fucking dog. The only thing that he might need, and he might be outboxed by Crawford and loses in points. And then we'll see, like, yeah, maybe he need a little bit more experience. But it would still be a competitive fight, I think. Alex is saying on Instagram that I heard Wilder might fight Michael Hunter. Yeah, Michael Hunter. They're talking about Michael Hunter. They're talking about Robert Helenius. I mean, yeah, any of those fights. I don't care any of those fights, man. Just Wilder needs to be back in the picture. He needs to fight again, man. He's great for the heavyweight division. Those will all be Robert Helenius. I think be a good fight because he's big like him. He's tall. I don't know how tall Helenius is. He might be just as tall. And Helenius is coming off destroying Kaunaki. He's the one that exposed Kaunaki. He knocked him out twice. So I mean, they sparred together too. So I think I like that one better. Robert Helenius versus Wilder. Michael Hunter would be good too. Anything, man. Just get Wilder back in there, man. It looks like he's going to get back in there too. You know, we all saw that this week. He's been sparring and training with people. So even though he looked a little skinnier than before, we'll see. We'll see how he looks, but he needs to get back in there. It looks like that's the direction he's going. Yeah, I mean, oh man, that is a good fight. Now somebody brought it up, man. Vergil Ortiz versus versus Blair Cobbs. Since I'm disappointed that Blair Cobbs beat a what sounds to be a washed up Maurice Hooker, throw him with the Wolves again. Throw him in with Vergil Ortiz. Oh man, Vergil Ortiz will knock his ass out, punish him. I'll be nice. I don't like that guy, man. Blair Cobbs. That would be nice. Yeah, they're both on the zone. So Vergil Ortiz versus Rocha. Robinson Monteon on Instagram is asking. Or he's not asking. It looks like he's just putting that out there. Yeah. I mean, we got to keep him busy, man. We got to keep him busy. Well, whatever the zone got. Because, like I said, the top ones are over there with PBC. He's not going to get any of those. So, yeah, I guess throw him in there with any of these names. Rocha would be good too, then, I guess. Yeah. What about Vergil Ortiz versus Connor Ben? Yeah, and those are both on the zone. That would just have to be Golden Boy working with Matchroom, but they're both on the zone. But even then, we've seen them not work with each other that much. Even though today was a Matchroom fighter, Mckinson. It was actually promoted by Golden Boy, but there was a Matchroom fighter in there. So yeah, we'll probably be able to get that. But yeah, Connor Ben right now is like sounds like he's negotiating with Eubank Jr. So it looks like that fight they're still negotiating. So they might go that direction. Who knows? You know, like a big domestic fight over there. So maybe they got that cooking over there for Connor Ben. But yeah, Connor Ben's another one that I don't think he's ready for the big boys. Like I was talking about Boots and Vergil Ortiz, like being ready for like Spencer Crawford. Connor Ben, not yet. But I still want to see Connor Ben fight better fighters. He's been fighting too many weak ass fighters. So I mean, they're gonna make that domestic fight between him and Chris Eubank Jr. Even though Eubank Jr. is bigger, but like I said, there's a little animosity there because of the fathers. So I mean that'll be a good fight, and it's still a step up for Conor Benn. He's fighting the way bigger fighter, a former world champion. Even though nobody wants to really give him props for being a world champion, Eubank Jr. Because it was the IBO, but it's still a step up for Conor Benn. It's a step up. He's been fighting too many fucking hands, way too fucking many. So yeah, Virgil Ortiz Jr. does have some options. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still gonna have some options, but they're not gonna be as good as the ones that we're talking about, like the top welterweights in the PBC side. He's got some options, but they're not that as good as the ones he would have in PBC. So we'll see. We'll see who he fights next. But it's gonna have to be another DAZN fighter. And there ain't no top welterweights on DAZN. Besides, I mean, Conor Benn would be all right. But like I said, Conor Benn is going to be tied up with the negotiations. And yeah, I mean, I would like to see that fight, man, just because all the storylines coming in. Conor Benn, Eubank Jr., big ass domestic fight. I mean, shit, I want to see that fight. Sounds interesting. That sounds good, man. But yeah, I mean, Eubank Jr. is way bigger. The last I heard, he agreed to Eubank Jr. agreed to the catch weight, which would be have him still fighting at middleweight, but it would have to go down all the way to 155 where middleweight starts. But on top of that, I heard they were having trouble closing the deal because I think they were trying to put a rehydration clause on him, on Eubank Jr.'s, which I think it's nah, that's not a good idea, man. I don't think he's gonna take it. I mean, he's already killing himself to make that weight. Conor Ben ain't gonna kill himself at all. It's a lot easier to go up in weight than fucking lose the weight. So, I mean, he's always fought at 160 and 168. Eubank Jr. At least lately, he's been doing that. He went up, he went down. And it's impressive how he's still young, so he could get away with it. He could do it. He's never looked like completely dry, sucked up, all drained. You know, from 168 to 160, that's fucking 8 pounds. That's a lot. So I mean, and then on top of that, now all the way down to 155, somewhere where he probably hasn't even fought. And then on top of that, you cannot rehydrate, man. That's fucking tough, bro. Fuck you trying to fight a fucking skeleton? The fuck is that? You gotta let him rehydrate. It's kind of like what Amir Khan was trying to do with Kell Brook, and I think he did it. So it's like, I don't know, man. That's probably what's holding it up. Like, bro, you're not gonna be fighting me then, man. Like, you're not gonna be fighting me at my best. Like, what the fuck is that? I can't rehydrate. The fuck. Robinson is on Instagram is talking about Vergil versus Ramirez. I'm assuming you're talking about Jose Ramirez. Oh yeah, there you go. You put Jose Ramirez. Um, Jose Ramirez is with fucking Bob Arum, so I doubt that. And then yeah, Ramirez is still fighting at 140, right? Or is he moving up already to 147? Yeah, but the point is, it's not gonna happen. He's still tied up over there, the top rank. Saint on Instagram is asking me if I think Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr. would be on pay-per-view. Here, nah, no way. Not here, not in the States. Over there in the fucking UK, fuck yeah. It's like fucking huge. Oh, that's like the fucking Super Bowl already, man. It's like a big ass fucking domestic fight. I'm telling you, because of their fathers, man. So it's like, and there's been a little bit of going back and forth on social media between those two, between the fighters too. So it's like huge over there, man. It's gonna be huge. So yeah, definitely pay per view over there, but not over here in the States. Fuck no. The only one they got away with it and it flopped, which was like Tyson Fury, only because he's known already everywhere in the U.S. worldwide, and they put his last fight against against Dillian White. So it was like two British fighters fighting over there in the UK, and they put it in pay per view over here, and I was like, what the fuck? So it was. I mean, they got away with it, but they kind of didn't. They didn't because it flopped. They didn't sell no pay per views over here, and I mean, fucking Tyson Fury is fucking known, especially after fighting those Wilder fights, and he fought him over here, so he's known in the U.S. So that's why they figured and they put it on pay per view in the U.S. But not this one. No, no, not fucking Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. Ain't nobody know them over here unless for us, like the fucking diehard boxing fans. Nah, nobody knows them over here. They won't put that shit in pay per view over here. But in the UK, fuck yeah, it's gonna be expensive as fuck probably. Well, under UK terms, because they always complaining over there about pay per views, and they're fucking cheap as fuck all the time. I don't know why people complain about pay per views in the UK. They're always cheap as fuck. Fucking beer money. NAF side Latina is talking about no one wants to work with the Zone, Matchroom, or Golden Boy. Nobody wants to work with nobody. Everybody has to be pushed. It has to be like a big fight, and a big fight being demanded by the fans in order for the every promoter in boxing to like try to work with each other. So it kind of goes to everywhere, man. PBC too. I mean, fuck, all of them are the same. They're all the same. Even though I mean, a lot of people like to take sides, but at the end of the day, they're all the same. They all rather keep it in house. It has to be like a high demand fight for them to fucking be forced to work with each other or let one of their fighters go fight on the other network without them being involved. It has to be like a mandatory kind of like Porter when he went to fight over there on Top Rank because it was a fucking mandatory fight, and who got the purse, or they came to an agreement or something like that. I don't know what happened, but it was because of the mandatory status. They had to fight, and at the end, Porter was allowed, and he went over there to Top Rank. So it has to be like scenarios like that, or else they're not gonna work with each other. Nobody is. The politics are always gonna be there. Fights still get done, but like I said, it's not that easy. How many pay-per-views did it make? I'm assuming you're asking about Tyson Fury and Dillian White here in the US. I don't know, and I don't care, but it was a big ass flop. Nobody bought that shit. And then on top of that, it was in the UK, the fight. So over here in the US, it was like early afternoon, like for the West Coast, regular, like in the middle of the afternoon for the East Coast. It was like the time is like way off. Everybody's out and about, man. Oh yeah, Progress, man. That's a good one. I like that shit, man. Progress. One of my live feeds in the past, I was complaining about that shit, man. There could have been some fucking racism or something. The way they were like blackballing Progress, the organizations. You know how the two belts were left vacant, WBA, WBC, and they had already scheduled all four fighters, two fighters for the WBA, two fighters for the WBC, and for those vacant belts that Josh Taylor gave up, and Progress was not in any of those. Like, dude, he is the next top fighter at 140. How the fuck was he not fighting for either one of those belts? And now, only because Jose Ramirez pulled out of the fight against Cepeda, because he's getting married. So it's not going to work out. The time is not going to work out for him to fight. Only because he pulled out, then they named the Progress and they put him in there to fight for the vacant title. Like, dude, fuck, man. I'm just glad that he's getting a shot because he deserves it. Progress is, I think, the top fighter right now at 140, besides obviously Josh Taylor. Because, I mean, whatever your opinion is about Josh Taylor, I know his opinion took a hit. Whatever it is, he's still the top fighter, man. He's still the only unified world champion at that weight class. But after that, I think Progress is the main one right there, man. And how the fuck are you gonna be leaving him out and only putting him in there like a substitute? It kind of feels like a substitute, you know? Like, oh, okay, well, one of the fighters pulled out, so hey, let's bring this guy in. Like bullshit, man. Just disrespecting him, man. Completely disrespectful. Alex is asking me on Instagram, what's my prediction on Canelo versus Golovkin 3? Badass fight. Gonna be the fight of the year, watch. People would like to complain for whatever reason they don't like one fighter or the other, but it's gonna be a badass fight. Look at the first two fights, competitive fights, good fights. And the first fight, the only complaint was because of Canelo was trying to outbox him and he was moving around a lot. He ain't doing that shit no more after the success he had in the second fight where he just backed up little G and went toe to toe. He went after him and he beat him. And then now Canelo with like a chip on his shoulder, man, coming off that loss. Oh man, he's gonna take it out on. He's gonna try to take it out on Golovkin. So you're gonna see a continuation of the second fight, just toe to toe, right in front of each other. But I'm saying that he's gonna try to take it out on him. I'm not saying he's gonna have success. Canelo is, because Golovkin ain't no pushover, man. He's still a badass, man. We seen that last fight. He's still a badass, and the only fighter that has beaten him is Canelo, and it was a close fight. So it was a clear winner, but it was a close fight. But it was a clear winner. Canelo clearly beat him. So it's gonna be a badass fight. A lot of people like to complain about him because both fighters got their hate, but it's gonna be a badass fight. Just remember, it's kind of like when what's his name? Tyson Fury, the third fight against Wilder, and everybody was complaining, what the fuck for, and this and that. And what happened? One of the greatest fights of all time, if not the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. It's up there. And people were complaining about it. There was no need to watch it. There was no need. They were complaining. And what happened? You see? I think it's going to be the same thing. A lot of people complaining about this one. And it's going to shock everybody how good it's going to be. This is the last chance for Golovkin to get some get that badass mystique around him, like the badass mystique that he had around him in the past. The Destroyer, this boogeyman, this badass. This is his last chance to get that back because he lost it over the years because Canelo took it from his ass. And now he could take it back by beating the guy that beat him. And then on top of that, you know how Golovkin was trying to be undisputed at 160. He could never do it. Now he has a chance of becoming undisputed with one shot at it. One shot at it. Kind of like Jermaine Taylor when he became undisputed. When he beat Hopkins. Hopkins did all the hard work, picked up all the belts, defended them, and boom, he came in, Jermaine Taylor, and just took his ass. Took the belts. Undisputed. One fight. So he has the chance of doing that on top of that. And damn, fuck, Golovkin loses this one? Shit. What you gonna say now, man? What are you gonna say about him? Losing 2 fights in a row? And then the second fight that you lose is to a guy you had already beaten, and he's already 40 years old? Man, this is gonna be... You thought it was bad that Canelo lost that last fight? It wasn't that bad because, it was obvious. He was fighting a way bigger guy in a weight class he didn't belong, right? You could go with that. But this one, what you gonna say about this one if he loses this one? What the fuck are you gonna say? What excuse are you gonna make? I'm a Canelo fan. I ain't gonna make no excuses. I'm just gonna give props to Little G. Unless it's like a fucking highway robbery. Gotta state the obvious, you know what I mean? But nah, I'm gonna give him full props because what you gonna say this time if he loses? There's not gonna be... You can't... the other excuse that we're trying to use with Bibol when he lost to Bibol, the vegan, remember the vegan diet? They were trying to use that as an excuse. I don't think he's going to go that way again. He's not going to go that way. So, there ain't going to be no fucking excuses, man. So, at least that's a Canelo fan to be using. And this is going to be the beginning of the end, I think, for Canelo if he loses to Golovkin. How are you going to rebound from that shit? So he's going to be extra hungry, man. Canelo. But for the reasons I explained also, Golovkin's going to be super hungry himself. Look at where he's at. He got a shot at taking everything back that he lost when he lost to Canelo. You get a chance to take it all back by beating that guy that took everything from you. He took everything from him. He even took his fucking... He made that friction between him and his trainer. Remember, this is the first fight with no Abel Sanchez between Canelo and Golovkin. Remember? Canelo took that from his ass too. He created that friction that they had, and boom, they split up. Canelo took everything, and Golovkin could take it all back by beating him. And we're getting closer and closer. Next month already. Not offside Latina on Instagram is saying that Progress is underrated. Fuck yeah, he is. I'm a huge fan of Progress, man. You remember that little shit talking that little Tank Davis was trying to do with Progress when he went up to 140 and fought a weak ass Mario Barrios? He was never gonna touch fucking Progress. He ain't fighting the best. He was talking about fighting Josh Taylor too, but fuck no, he was. Tank Davis is nothing but a little bitch skipping, some tiptoeing around fucking top competition. He ain't getting nowhere close to fucking Progress. You know what Tank Davis does? He gets close to those fighters through Twitter. That's where he does it. Through the media, talking shit. But he ain't fighting none of them. Remember when he fought weak ass Mario Barrios? He said that's when he was undisputed right there, Josh Taylor. And he was going around telling the media that that's who he was going to fight next. Fuck no, he wasn't. He's nothing but a fucking shit talker, just like Ryan Garcia. That's why they made for each other, man. Fuck out of here. Ain't nobody wants shit with Rage's Progress, man. Look at the fight he's getting. He's getting a good fight coming up, only because he was like, they fucking... It was like he got lucky they gave it to him. Ain't nobody signing up to fight him willingly. Nobody wants that shit. Nobody wants that power, man. Progress is fucking good as hell, man. And I still think he's in his prime, man. That the only fight he lost was Josh Taylor, and that was a close ass fucking fight. You seen Josh Taylor's face at the end? He had a fucking golf ball for an eye. I was afraid that Progress wasn't going to get the good fights now that he signed with Probellum. Richard Schaefer's new company, Probellum. I was like, damn, he followed the money. I don't blame him. He wasn't getting the fucking fights. So what did he do next? He followed the money. They must have paid him good. And I thought and Probella ain't getting good fights. They ain't even got a fucking network yet in the US. So I was like, fuck, Progress ain't gonna get shit now. And look at that. Look at how lucky he got. Only because Jose Ramirez pulled out. They made him the fucking mandatory. I was fuck. I was worried he wasn't gonna get nothing. So now he has a chance to be the world champion again. Good for him. Fuck yeah. Alex is talking to him on Instagram that he agrees it's gonna be a hell of a fight, Golovkin and Canelo. But you also said that Golovkin is too slow now. I don't know about that. I didn't see the speed. The speed hasn't changed. Whatever speed he had before, he has it now. He's never been known like fast. He's never been known to be fast. He still has that power jab. He still has that resistance. We seen that shit. That big ass Murata guy. He was throwing the kitchen sink at him, and he was connecting early, man, and he was still going through him like nothing. And he still got the stamina and will break you down, fuck you up at the end. But yes, I agree with you that Canelo might break him down and hurt him to the body. Yes, the body is the only thing that Golovkin has shown weakness to, and it has gotten more and more obvious. After Canelo, I think Canelo started that shit because he was both fights, he peppered him with fucking body shots, but he was sitting more on his shots on the second fight. And then after that, that fucking Derevchenko fight, remember when he got fucking saved by the ref, where Derevchenko clearly hurt him to the body? It looked like he was gonna take a knee, or he was like hurting. And the ref, for some fucking strange reason, went in and saved him. He stopped the fucking fight. He stopped it and pushed both fighters away from each other, like kind of a reset again, kind of like the equivalent to somebody getting hit on the balls when that shit wasn't even close to even the belt line. I don't even think he hit him in the belt line. It was way above. It was like a clear as day body shot. And boom. So, I mean, against Murata too, his last fight against Murata too, he got hit to the body and he was kind of like, grimacing, kind of like folding, kind of bending down, trying to cover up with the elbows. Like he was feeling those. So, yes, that's the thing I agree. That's his weakness right there, is the body shots. And we already know Canelo, that's his bread and butter because Canelo's the real Mexican style. You know how Golovkin was trying to promote that Mexican style? You can't be Mexican style, bro, if you're not going to throw any body shots. The Mexican style is with body shots. Every Mexican is known for that shit. Body shots, bro. So, nah, you can't be promoting. That was a fake ass Mexican style promotion right there. Canelo's the real Mexican style. Up and down, baby. Body shots, always. Always. It's got to be in your DNA or else you ain't got no Mexican style, man. Yeah, Progress would punish Tank. Yeah, Tank, he don't want none of that. None of that. Yeah, Robinson on Instagram is Josh Taylor wanted Crawford. Yeah, they were trying to set that one up too. Josh Taylor and Crawford, but yeah, we already know what happened. Yeah, with fucking Crawford leaving Top Rank. So yeah, we're not gonna see that shit. They're not working with each other, Crawford and Bob Arum, at least not anytime soon, because there's that lawsuit going on. He was suing them. So yeah, that's another good fight. But I mean, judging by Josh Taylor's last fight, I don't think he's ready for Crawford. No, well, not at 147. I mean, he still got to prove to everybody that was you had a night off. You were not yourself against Catterall, and fight him in the rematch and go back to looking like your old self, dominant again, and fuck him up. And then we'll believe you and be like, oh, you know what? He did have an off night. It happens. He struggles to make weight sometimes because we seen Josh Taylor. He looks all sucked up, all trying to make weight at 140. So, I mean, that's what he has to do. He has to take that rematch and show us that you had an off night. Go back to being dominant. And if he doesn't, I mean, because you can't go by, oh, well, it's just that Catterall is that good. Hell to the motherfucking no. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You seen that fight. It doesn't matter what the fuck you want to say about that fight, and you don't like Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor robbed them. I don't give a fuck. Say all that shit, but don't fucking say because it was Catterall. Catterall was not dominant at all, man. That fool wasn't doing nothing but fucking hugging. Nothing but even when he looked like he had to fight, when he knocked down Josh Taylor, that's when you put your foot down and let's go forward. Try to go for, like, make it more clear that you're dominating the fuck out of him, and you go for the fucking knockout, go for another knockdown. That fool, when He did like nothing but fucking hugging for the entire second part of the fight. So you can't say that. You could only say if Josh Taylor proved he could only prove that he had an off night if he comes back and he fucks up Catterall. Or if this time Catterall dominates him and beats him this time by actually throwing some fucking punches instead of just hugging, then we could say something like that. That it was Catterall. He was the difference. Because that was not the case in the first fight. So Catterall, he needs to impress too. He needs to show us too that he's the difference, not the judges. Keep working, especially when everything's going your way. He was not doing nothing but hugging. Like he thought he had the fucking fight won already, and he stopped working. Catterall. But Josh Taylor got a lot of haters. He became undisputed. He beat a lot of good fighters. They got fan bases like Jose Ramirez, and they quickly saw something. A fight where it was a close fight. He didn't look himself. Close fight, and they're quickly gonna go with that shit with the robbery thing. But hell nah. The one that was a lot better was the Progress fight, where both fighters got to work. There's no leaving anything in the tank. They were working all the way, and that was a close fucking fight. It could have gone either way. It could have fucking gone either way. But if even Progress would have won, you could have been like, he deserved it. With this one, the Catterall one was like, what the fuck? He wasn't doing shit in the second part of the fight. So, I mean, they're giving too much credit to Catterall in order to put down fucking Josh Taylor. Yeah, we got Teofimo versus Progress now. That one, the same weight class too. But, I mean, Progress is with Richard Schaefer, with Probellum. And Teofimo's with Bob Arum in Top Rank. So, I don't know the relationship there. The only beef that we've seen in the past with Richard Schaefer, the Golden Boy beef with De La Hoya. I'm sure they still got that beef. So I don't know what his relationship might be, but Richard Schaefer with Bob Arum. But fuck yeah, man, that'll be a good ass fight, man. Teofimo versus Progress. Shit. Oh yeah, and then we got that fight coming up. Teofimo coming up. That's the next fight next Saturday against that fucking bum, or the fuck he's fighting. But whatever, he's trying to bounce back. Which I have no problem because of that. I understand he's trying to bounce back. He lost. He took a beating against Cambosis. He's going up in weight. So it's fine. The only reason why I keep calling it a cherry pick and I talk shit is because he deserves it. He goes up in weight. He's fighting a nobody, and then he goes around talking shit about all the fighters at that weight class, acting like if nobody wanted to fight him, that's the reason he's fighting this nobody. Why are you bullshitting? That's when all the fighters came out firing back and putting him on the spot. Like, bitch, I'm ready to fight. Let's go. When the fuck did you even look in my direction? Like, he didn't even look in anybody's direction or offered any of those other fighters a fight. But he trying to justify his cherry pick by saying that nobody wanted to fight him. That everybody was ducking him. Even Progress came out talking like, fuck you talking about. So I don't like the way he's going into this fight, but it's Teofimo. What other ways he can go into a fight? He has to always be talking shit. He's kind of like a Tyson Fury, Ryan Garcia. Like them fools are like, if they stay quiet going into a fight, then you'd be worried, man. They gotta be talking their shit, man. You gotta like them for that too. So yeah, that's what he's doing. So you try to act like if nobody wanted to fight you, and that's why you're fighting this lesser opponent. You got exposed, man. That was not the case. So I'm gonna give him shit too, and I'm gonna call that a cherry pick. If not, I wouldn't call it cherry pick because if he was not talking all that shit, talking out of his ass, lying. Because like I said, he's going up in weight. He's coming off a beating, and he just lost. He's going up in weight. So like, I would have been cool about it. Alex on Instagram is asking me. I think he's trying to be funny. He's like, "What's your stand on Jamal Charlo? Who you think she should fight next?" You throw in the she. Who you think she should face next? I don't think you did that shit by accident. I don't blame you, man. That's pussy Charlo. Big Charlo's pussy Charlo, man. Yeah, I mean, like, fuck. I don't even know what to say about that fucker anymore. He's just like poo poo Andrade, man. What's nothing but fucking talk, man. Saludos, viejo. No se escuchaba porque no estaba. Voy a tener una miada. Fue al baño. Saludos, viejo, el Toros. Pinche Toro sigue siendo el único que se reporta y mandando saludos. No, pinche sinvergüenzas todos los otros, ¿sabes? Les pone la muestra. Y de todos modos, les vale verga, no me mandan saludos nadie más que tú, pinche Toros. Toros es el mero mero aquí. Ponieron la muestra a todos. Yo, so it looks like everybody's having fun with this fucking Jake Paul guy, huh? Like everybody's trying to flip it, trying to change the narrative, huh? I see you. I see all of you. First, it was what? What was it? Oh, that he ain't selling. That's the real reason. That Jake Paul wasn't selling. That was the real reason, supposedly. Well, it was all bullshit, right? The truth came out, right? A Madison Square Garden representative came out and he refuted that shit. Huh? He revealed that there was a high projection of ticket sales for the Jake Paul Hasim Rahman fight. The fight was projected to be in the top 10 of highest grossing boxing events at Madison Square Garden in the past 15 years. Well, look at that. But all you motherfuckers hating, and you see, you motherfuckers are wrong about me. You think that I'm taking sides like if I'm a Jake Paul fight. No, I'm not. I'm just calling everybody on their bullshit, man. The guy is trying to make these fights that everybody keeps saying. They keep moving the fucking goalpost on his ass. I'm being neutral. I was looking forward to the Hasim fight because that's a real boxer. He's finally fighting a real boxer. The guy's 12-1. He's way bigger. I'm like, shit, he probably knocks out Jake Paul. That would be good entertainment. But I mean, the guy pulls out of the fucking fight, and you're still trying to make it seem like if Jake Paul was the one pulling out. Like, come on, man. It's all right if you hate someone, but talking out of your ass like that, trying to change the narrative. And then that's the way they were trying to build it. Like if it was because he couldn't sell any tickets. And look at that. The representative from the MSG came out fucking killing that noise. That shit was selling, man. That fool fumbled it. Fucking Hasim Rahman fumbled that payday. Big time. The guy pulled out of the fucking fight. He notified everyone that he was not planning on going down in weight. He was trying to go in there as a weight bully after signing the contract saying he was going to make 200. Then the commission moved it up to 205, and Jake Paul was fine with that. And he still refused to sign that fucking contract and pulled out of the fucking fight. He didn't even want to go down to 205. And then people started with all this and that, like trying to change it. Like, you can't change facts, bro. And Hasim Rahman was the one fucking rallying everybody up, too, like coming up with this bullshit excuses. And then that weak ass shit that he did when he weighed in, he still supposedly lost the weight and weighed in yesterday on a scale. Like, there was no commission there or nobody. When he got on that fucking scale, nobody saw that scale. And then he gets up there and supposedly, and he still misses weight. Like, who the fuck keeps losing weight for free? Nobody does. He supposedly was weight cutting this whole time. And then for what? To miss weight? He did it on purpose of saying that he was on at 206 instead of 205 to make it seem like, at least he was going to be like close by, like a pound off. Because he would have done 205, it would have been too obvious. So what a coincidence, he did 205. But ain't nobody gonna be doing no weight cutting for free, bro. The fight was over already. And that's his own team right there at a gym where he's showing that. There's no fucking no officials right there. There's no officials right there. There's no commission right there. And people fall for that shit. Like, bruh, fool's a bullshitter. He's a con artist, man. His own dad fucking said it. Hasim Rahman Sr., he was saying that in the press conference. He's always been an underachiever, man. He's full of shit. It backfired on his ass. He was trying to be a weight bully against a YouTuber, and it backfired on his ass. He was playing too many games. And the commission stepped in and stopped the fight after bumping up the weight from 200 to 205, and Rahman is the one that turned it down. There's no other way. There's nothing You cannot get around those facts. Those are facts. You can't get around them. And people still trying to fucking put these narratives, these headlines, and make it, try to fucking put it this way and put it that way. There's no other way. He signed the contract to fight him at 200 when they were making him weigh every week to make sure that he was on track to make that weight. Commissions do that all the time to make sure that people lose weight healthy. And when he was not on track to make 200, he was way off. He had lost only half a pound in like 24 days. Half a pound. That's somebody either not being able to cut weight or not trying to cut the weight. So that's when the commissioner, all right, bumped it up to 205. And even then, he said, that he was still going to come in at 215. He had no plans. If that was his plan, then why the fuck didn't he sign the contract when they updated the contract and put the new weight at 205? If supposedly he was going to make it, why didn't he? Huh? The fucking fight was going well. It was selling like a motherfucker. It was projected to be one of the top 10 of the highest grossing events at MSG in the last 15 years. The fight was going. Why would even Showtime allow Jake Paul to pull out of something like that? Jake Paul is under contract with the Showtime. You see, and they try to make it seem like it was Jake Paul. What the fuck? The commission went in there and still gave an option. They bumped it up to 205, and they still give him an option to Hasim, and he still turned it down. Of course they're going to fucking pull the fight, man. You can't have a fight if the commission pulls out of the fucking fight. If they pull the fight, you can't have a fight. So it's like, what the fuck? And they not like they just went in there and they pulled the plug. They gave him an option, man. All right, 205, and he still didn't want to go 205. So it's like ridiculous, dude. Like, it's all right that you hate someone, but don't be fucking talking out of your ass. Like, those are facts, bro. And I'm not a fan of Jake Paul. I just like to post things about Jake Paul because he moves the needle, man. Everybody talks about him. And it was going to be a pretty big fight. I mean, he was fighting a real boxer, kind of like with Tommy Fury, and he pulled out. Oh, yeah, and then I bring up the Tommy Fury thing, and people, he was not allowed in the U.S., okay? Even though that was bullshit, because he was in the U.S. a few days before with his girl. He was not banned from coming in. He was not the one signed to MTK Global. His brother was. He had a visa. He was here in the U.S. a few days before supposedly he had a ban on him. All he had to go was to the embassy and get a fucking visa again or use that same one. So that's bullshit. All right. And what about the one before that? Last year when he pulled out of that fight too. What's your excuse for that? You see? It's just that people hate Jake Paul so much they don't want to give him that he's being a boogeyman right now, that people are turning down fights against him because they want to keep using that narrative that, he won't fight real boxers. Well, 2 fucking real boxers back to back pulled out of the fucking fight, ran away, and they try to turn it and make it seem like Jake Paul ran away. Jake Paul didn't do none of that shit. And then Jake Paul, on top of that, supposedly when he was talking about the visa, Jake Paul offered to go fight him in the UK. Crickets about that shit. And then he was fucking contradicted like a motherfucker, Tommy Fury, by his own dad. He was talking about the visa when his own dad had already come out saying that the reason he wasn't going through with the fight because he was out of shape. His own father. And he tried to fucking lie that he couldn't get into the U.S. when he was just in the U.S. a few days before. I think it was a couple of weeks. Bullshitters. Both of them bullshitters. Because I've been talking about it. You know what it is? They're going to end up being the next real boxer is going to be the first one that fights them. And they have that pressure on them that they end up losing to a YouTuber. The other ones, they're not real boxers, so they didn't give a fuck. These real boxers, I think that's what they're fearing. They're nervous. That's why Mr. Hasim Rahman over here, he wanted even a bigger advantage. And he wanted to come in as a weight bully. You're already the bigger fighter. You're already a real boxer with experience in the amateurs and the pros. And you still wanted more advantages than that against a YouTuber? Pfft, some weak ass shit right there, man. Weak. Exposed, bro. Oh yeah, there's another fight I haven't touched too. I didn't see this one for sure because that shit was early in the afternoon. The Michael Conlan. It looks like he pulled it out. So yeah, I gotta check that shit out later too. I think it came out on ESPN Plus, but that was over there in the U. I think it was in Northern Ireland, so it was like early in the afternoon over here in the US. So I gotta check that shit out. But yeah, he beat a Mariaga. Mariaga, I think I don't know if he's been a world champion in the past, but maybe not. But he fought Lomachenko in the past, so he's fought pretty good fighters here and there, but he never beat him. So I mean, Conlon came back after getting his ass knocked out the last fight, where he literally got knocked out of the ring. So it was a good little bounce back fight, I guess. I heard he won by decision and he dropped the other guy, so I guess he looked good. But I mean, I don't know if he's going to take that rematch with the guy who knocked him out, Lee Wood. Well, he wouldn't be taking the next because Lee Wood is tied up now as a mandatory fight with Santa Cruz. So maybe next year we'll see. But yeah, I think Conlan got to get that shit. If he's going to proceed with his career and move on with his career, Mike Conlan, he's gonna have to get that fight back, or at least try to get it back. He's got to get that rematch because he was doing good. I think he was winning when he got knocked out late. He might have been outpointing him. He might have been winning. So he got knocked out late. So I think he's got to get that fight. They like completely went in different directions, him and Shakur Stevenson. Because I think they brought him in at the same time in Top Rank. So yeah, it's a trip how they went in different directions. And one is dominant, elite, top 10 pound for pound fighter, Shakur. And this guy got knocked out before he could ever even become a world champion, if he's ever going to become one. So it's like, ugh. Well, I mean, that guy, like I said, the guy that knocked him out, Lee Wood, is going to fight that mandatory fight. The mandatory fight where they're trying to eliminate the WBA regular. So Lee Wood has the WBA regular, and Leo Santa Cruz has the super at 126 at featherweight. So, I mean, that rematch would be nice if Lee Wood beats Santa Cruz, which I think he should. I think Santa Cruz is on his way out already. He's downhill. He's going downhill. So I think Lee Wood is going to beat him. And now imagine that rematch against Michael Conlan. He would have a chance to get revenge. He would have a chance to get revenge by beating the guy that beat him. And on top of that, become a world champion. Because Lee Wood, if he beats Santa Cruz, he would be having the WBA Super at 126. So, those two things that I put together with Michael Conlan, that he ended up getting knocked out before ever becoming a world champion. Well, he could get those two things back. Or he could accomplish those two things, reverse them against the same fighter. The same fighter that knocked him out, he could beat him and at the same time become a world champion. Because Lee Wood would have the Super WBA. So hopefully it goes in that direction because I feel bad for Conlan. That's fucked up. He got knocked out before he became a world champion. But I don't know, man. Lee Wood looks like he's kicking ass right now. Shit. We'll see how he looks against Leo Santa Cruz. I might be wrong, man. Leo Santa Cruz might still have it and beats him up. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's another fight right there that I'm gonna check out later on, or maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. It's on ESPN Plus. Yeah, so anybody checking this out, you can see my logo right there, right in the middle. I added the TikTok logo since I already got TikTok. So check out Boxing Habit on TikTok if that's one of the platforms you be at. So I'm on TikTok now. Check it out. Yeah, and then I mean Amanda Serrano, you know how she missed out on the fight too because she was going to be the co-main event to the Jake Paul Hasim Rahman fight. She's going to be the co-main event, and she's promoted by Jake Paul, so she's like been getting flack, and people been talking shit about her because she's taking sides with her promoter, the one that made her rich. She's got millions now thanks to Jake Paul, and she's been taking sides, and she was talking shit about Hasim Rahman. I think she was posting on Twitter that Like, oh my God, more crying. Because that's what he's been doing, man. Hasim Rahman doing nothing but crying. So she's been getting some flack, man. People getting nasty with her, man, talking shit about Amanda Serrano. I'm telling you, that's how much, man, people hate Jake Paul. Calling her even slurs, racist slurs. I'm like, damn. Oh my God, the crying continues. Let it go. Everybody's assuming that's what she's talking about, but it is. She's talking about the Hasim Rahman because that is what he's been doing, crying. She missed out on a payday because, like I said, look at that. That fucking fight had sold a shitload of tickets, and Hasim Rahman just pulled out. No matter how you put it, Jake Paul is a fucking draw. Imagine being in your fucking, what, fifth fight, sixth fight, already fighting on Showtime, pay per view, and selling a shitload of tickets at the Madison Square Garden. Damn, that is impressive. Impressive as fuck. But yeah, the haters be like, no, no, no. You grown ass men, all in your feelings, talking out of your ass. It's okay. It's okay. That's what happens. When you all up in your feelings, that's what happens. You can't face the facts. The facts hurt you. They hurt. Can't face them. When your bullshit ass lying narratives get squashed, you got nothing left but talk out of your ass. Nothing left. All right, let's see what we got coming up. Oh shit, it looks like we got on Friday. On Friday is going to be Tevin Farmer. He's back. Remember Tevin Farmer, former world champion? The guy that Tank Davis was ducking for years, also. Tank Davis got a fucking history of ducking world champions. That's one of them. Remember Tevin Farmer? You remember. That guy was on him. And fucking Tank was like just ducking, ducking. Well, it looks like he's back. Tevin Farmer against Mickey Bay. Look like he's trying to get back in there. He probably have some inactivity. So there's that. But that one's not listed in any network. So I don't think it's going to be aired anywhere. Then we got Delfimo on ESPN. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be putting that Delfimo fight on ESPN and ESPN Plus. That's better when they put it on ESPN. You don't have to be getting into the app. Just straight up, just regular ESPN. So yeah, he's fighting Pedro Campa, whatever. And then you got Sander Sayas, the co-main event. It looks like it's listed as the co-main event for all the Puerto Ricans. You got Sander Sayas. Bien chula on Instagram. What you talking about? Give Ortiz his props, girl. Man, you came in here late, man. I started this live stream at 10. That's all I talked about the first hour. And that's all I did is give him his props. So you late to the party, girl. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the only big fight this Saturday coming up. Is going to be the Teofimo one. So it's good. I mean, we'll see where he's at. He should look good. He should definitely look good. Look who he's going to be fighting. So he should look good. I mean, get his feet wet at 140. So he should look good. But you know what we look forward to the most when it comes to Teofimo is like, what's he going to say? Always talking out of his ass, kind of like a Tyson Fury, Ryan Garcia. They talking out of their ass, especially when they put all these fucking microphones in their face. It's fight week, so he's gonna get a gang of interviews, and oh my god, the excuses are gonna keep coming. George Kambosos gonna love this week because you're gonna hear nothing but excuses why he lost to Kambosos. He's been using those already. I mean, and ESPN got those little fucking clips already lined up. I've seen a few where he comes out talking about, I had too much air in my lungs. Apparently, it's a bad thing to have too much air in your lungs. I was going through this. I was going through all the judges. DAZN had it all lined up. They robbed me on purpose. Remember all that bullshit he's been talking about out of his ass? Like excuses galore, man. Then remember Teofimo was the one talking shit about Deontay Wilder and telling him to man up and take the loss like a man instead of using all those excuses. And that's exactly what the fuck this fool did as soon as he lost. And Teofimo came out lumped up like a motherfucker. His face was destroyed, man. They fucked him up. And he's still trying to use judges as an excuse. And this and that, my lungs with too much air, and this and that, and fucking, like bullshit ass shit. Like, dude, when motherfuckers try to come up with like excuses or they try to scream robbery, that's one thing. If you got outboxed and that was it. This motherfucker got outboxed, outpointed, he lost, and on top of that, he took a beating. Look at his face, man. This shit was beat the fuck up. It was swollen, bleeding from everywhere. Like all fucked up. His lips, everything. He was all fucked up. And he's trying to make it seem like it was the judges. Like, bro, come on, man. Talking all that shit about fucking Deontay, and you just turned into Deontay. Like, weak excuses. Yeah, so Deontay was really bad with that. My suit was too heavy. Hell yeah, I agree. But yo ass, too much air in the lungs. DAZN did it on purpose because they already had Kambosos and Devin Haney lined up when DAZN didn't even want to match the price to buy that fight against Top Rank, and Top Rank took it. DAZN wasn't even interested that much in that fight. They didn't even put up the money. They just pulled out, and Top Rank took it. See, and he was saying that too. Conspiracy theories. Like, una pinche cachetada del hocico, güey. Drake, oh boy, 3K on Instagram. We got ourselves a Jaren Boots fanboy. Watch out. Fanboy. He talking about Jaren Boots would knock out Vergil Ortiz easily. Oh, we got a fanboy over here. Watch out. The only motherfuckers that might get away with that shit is if a Vergil Ortiz fanboy would say that, because Vergil Ortiz is the one with the power. 19 wins and all 19 by knockouts. So I would understand if they're talking like that, even though it will be talking out of your ass too, because he's the one with the power. But you talking about Jaren Boots? He ain't the puncher. The fuck you talking about, bro? Like, man, to me, that's a 50-50 fight. Man, I don't know who the fuck would win. If I have to choose, I really have to. I would probably choose Boots only because he has the skills and Ortiz has the power. And usually the scales beats the power, but it's still like a close fight. But I'm not talking out of my ass like that. Like, dude, relax. Oh, he would knock him out easily. Sit your ass down, bro. Put that fanboy shit down, bro. Yeah, Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. Yeah, that's a good fight. But yeah, I'm looking at the schedule, and that's further down. I think that's September 4th. So yeah, after this next weekend, we got that big ass rematch between fucking Usyk and AJ, and that's gonna be early in the afternoon because it's in Saudi Arabia. So here in the States, it's gonna be like in the afternoon. But that same day in the night, prime time in the US, it's gonna be Emmanuel Navarrete. He's coming back again. But yeah, that Luis Ortiz one is until like September 4th. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's gonna be Fox pay-per-view, which is bullshit. Yeah, it would have been a good fight. I want to see that fight, but like, regular fucking PBC on Fox or Showtime, whatever. Man, don't be putting that shit on pay-per-view, bro. And then they fucking got on the co-main event, Isaac Cruz against some fucking nobody too. Fucking Isaac Cruz been a Chihuahua, man. Pitbull Cruz, my ass, a Chihuahua Cruz, man, ducking fighters and shit, like ducking Ryan Garcia to fight fucking nobodies. Oh, but he fought Gamboa last. So Gamboa's a nobody now, man. He's like washed up like a motherfucker and old already. You just seen that shit? No punch resistance, man. Fucking weak as fuck, dude. Like, dude. Some ducking ass fool, man. Chihuahua Cruz. That's who he is. I gave him props for that fight, taking it on fucking short notice against fucking Stank Davis. And you know, he got robbed. But after that, he's been acting like a fucking bitch, man. Fight Ryan Garcia. And if you're not gonna fight Ryan Garcia, all right, you got other plans, and you're fighting these badass fighters. No, you're fighting fucking nobodies, fucking old ass fuck dinosaur Gamboa. No mames. Oh, and then we got Jose El Rayo Valenzuela. Oh, against Jezreel Corrales. I seen that for fight in the past. That's a good, decent fight. Oh shit! And then to open up the pay-per-views, Abner Mares against Miguel Flores. Okay, so it's a decent pay-per-view. I'm buying that shit. But I got my live streams. You know, I'm gonna watch that shit for free anyways. So I don't give a fuck. Yeah, everybody got power, dumbass. Draco boy talking about Jerry Boots has power as well. What the fuck you mean? Everybody got power, dumbass. The fuck? You're a professional boxer. Everybody got some sort of power. But the way you talking out of your ass, trying to make it seem like, oh, you straight outside, you'll knock him out easily. The fuck? Everybody's got powers. Have you ever seen Vergil Ortiz with a weak ass chin or something? Talking about you knock him out easily. Everybody got powers. You fucking dumbass. Yeah, soft wash on Instagram's talking about not pay per view, not worth it. Fuck yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a decent card, man. The Andy Ruiz, Luis Ortiz, like, nah, but not pay per view, man. PBC, fucking El Heyman's been known for that shit, man. Putting fucking PBC cards, putting on pay per view cards that do not belong on pay per view at all. And you got two fucking platforms, man. El Heyman, you got Showtime and Fox, and you feeding us these whack ass pay per views. If you're gonna put a pay per view, there's got to be at least a pay per view star in there, and the headliner, one of the fighters, a pay per view star, or at least the fucking fight being a world championship fight where either one of the fighters is a fucking current world champion. Other than that, what the fuck you doing putting them on pay per view, man? Like fucking whack ass fuck. So I feel bad for those people that don't know about the fucking, find streams and watch the fight. I am. I'm still gonna watch it, but it's not the same. When you watch it on regular channel, Showtime, whatever the channels you got, you can watch it again. You put it on DVR, you record it on DVR, or it gets saved like to the app, like ESPN3, ESPN Plus, or the Zone. So that's the only thing. I'm still gonna watch it on HD with those streams, but I can't watch it again. So, but yeah, that does not belong on pay per view at all. Who do I think? Softwash is asking me on Instagram, who do I think David Benavidez is going to fight next? I don't know. It's hard to say, man. Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know. I haven't really heard anything lately. But he does a little bit better than a lot of cherry pickers. He'll fight a former world champion, like David Lemieux, washed up as fuck, but you could say that. He's a former world champion. Kind of like Chihuahua Cruz and shit. Isaac Cruz, that's why he fought Gamboa. Washed up as fuck, but they could say that, oh, it's a former world champion. It has a name. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's kind of like his cherry picking is right there. He sticks to that. Kind of like, not that bad at cherry picking because of that. Benavidez, while he waits for, Canelo. So I don't know who the fuck might be lined up for him, but we all know he's a bitch and he doesn't fight at the weight class where he's supposed to be fighting at. His natural weight class at 175. He wants to have that advantage. Benavidez, he's the weight bully. And, he don't want to fight guys his size. That's why he ran away from fucking Better BF. So, I don't know. We'll see who the fuck he fights. But, yeah, the Canelo fight might be getting closer maybe next year. but it's like it's working in favor of Benavides. He's only 25. He's only going to get better. So you know what they're going to say if Canelo fights him and beats him right now? He was too young. So it's just working in his favor. Canelo's just getting older. He's already 32. He's in his 30s. And Benavides is just getting better and better. So we'll see who he stays busy fighting. We'll see. Yeah, what is Maurice Hooker going to do now? Suleiman is asking me on Instagram. Shit, man, that's a good one because, like I said, I gotta watch the fucking fight. By the what I heard and what you guys have been commenting here, telling me is that yeah, it looked like Maurice Hooker looked washed up, a former world champion, and Maurice Hooker has always been known for having good skills, boxing skills. He got easily dominated like that by Blair Cobbs. Blair fucking Cobbs of, that's bullshit, dude. I think I read that he got dropped 3 times, right? And he easily lost the decision, like to Blair Cobbs. Nah. So it's feeling more like if something, he might be in declining. I mean, something's wrong with him. Instead of giving props to Blair Cobbs, I think like that's what's gonna end up happening when I watch the fight. It's just gonna be that Maurice Hooker didn't look right. So yeah, but I mean Blair Cobbs, they should throw him with the Wolves and fucking put him against fucking Vergil Ortiz while Vergil Ortiz ain't getting the top fighters since they're all in PBC. Throw him in there with fucking Vergil Ortiz so Vergil Ortiz could rip them apart. Soft Wash is talking about who David Benavides is gonna fight. Everyone's a panocha. Fuck no. Benavides is the fucking panocha. Benavides had the chance to fight fucking Caleb Plant when they were both world champions. It would have been a unification. Benavides and his team turned down that fucking fight. Then he had the chance to fight Better BF when he missed weight and the WBC was putting him as a mandatory to Better BF. And he ran away scared from that shit and demanded the WBC to put him back in the rankings at 168. David Benavides is a panocha. All these fanboys just be on his fucking jock fucking going with that shit. Monster my ass. Fucking weight bully, that's what he is. Fight in his fucking natural weight division. He used to fight always at 175. Then he started fucking killing himself to make 168 to have an advantage. Fucking panocha. Yeah, someone is saying, Suleiman is saying about fucking Danny Jacobs would be a good opponent for David Benavides. Yeah, even though Daniel Jacobs hasn't been looking good lately, he might be fucking fading already too. So, but I mean, yeah, that might be a direction they're going because I think Daniel Jacobs isn't he a free agent? I don't think he's tied up to the zone. I think he's a free agent, so he could go anywhere. So that would be kind of another one, another former world champion that's not been looking good lately. Then he lost his last fight, I think, Daniel Jacobs, yeah. The supposed Mexican monsters, the Panocha, scared of the top fucking fighters. And Mexican monster my ass. What fucking Mexican? He ain't Mexican. Born and raised in the U.S., has lived in the U.S. all his life, and his mom is from Ecuador. So it's just like fake. Everything around fucking Benavides is all fake. It'll go away soon. You'll see. Yeah, you see, Softwash is talking about Maurice Hooker, slow and old. He never looked like that before, so maybe, I don't know. He's on his way out. Yeah, I like Benavides versus Morel. Even though a lot of people are saying that he's not ready. David Morel, I think it would be a step up. At least he's not somebody, washed up on the decline on his way out over the hill. Some people don't say that, because you don't have that many fights in professional fights, but he's well decorated amateur fighter, so he's got experience. He's a world champion, even though he's the secondary WBA regular. But I mean, it's still a step up from all the other opponents we're talking about. So yeah, Benavides will kill Jacobs and Morel. Southwash is saying, yeah, maybe Jacobs. Morel, I don't know. We'll see. And then Morel is just as big as him. Jacobs is not as big as Benavides. I think Morel is even a little bit taller, isn't he, than Benavides? So it would be a better fight against Morel. And he's southpaw. He could be crafty, lateral movement, and all that. So We'll see. It's a better fight, I think, the Morel fight, even though he don't have it that much experience. But you see, sometimes the experience it doesn't fucking matter. Who has more experience in the professional rankings in the professional world? I mean, Jacobs or Morel? Of course, Jacobs, right? But is Jacobs on his way out, declining, not looking good lately? Yes. That's not the case with Morel. So sometimes it doesn't fucking matter that one has more experience than the other one. Who's better right now is what matters. Who's better now? Look at fucking Chihuahua Cruz, Isaac Cruz. Who did he fight? Gamboa. Who's more decorated than Ryan Garcia, right? He's been a world champion, isn't that? Yeah, right? But who's better right now? Not Gamboa. He has more experience than Ryan Garcia and more decorated, right? But who's better right now? It ain't fucking Gamboa. So sometimes all that shit's like, it doesn't fucking matter who's more decorated, who has more experience. If you're all washed up, it doesn't fucking matter. None of that matters anymore. You got no more punch resistance. Can't take hits like before. You don't have the same output as before. That's what fucking matters more. Yeah, David Benavidez, fucking Panocha, is probably waiting for better beef to retire and then move up to light heavyweight. Soft wash. What are you talking about? He comes out with both flags, bro. He comes out, Benavides comes out with the Mexico flag and the Ecuadorian flag. He takes pictures with both flags all the time, too. That's his parents. His dad, Mexico, but his mom's from Ecuador, but he is born and raised in the US and has lived all his fucking life in the US. Don't act like if he just repping Mexico. Comes out with both fucking flags. The fool's American. He ain't no Mexican. The fool's like 25% Mexican and 25% Ecuadorian and 50% American. Yeah, South Washington, but he fought Tank. Yeah, Chihuahua Cruz. Yeah, he had never fought anybody before. And then after that fight, he's acting like he's such a big star where he could turn down other fights. What the fuck? He fought one good fighter, so that's it. I shouldn't fight any more good fighters. Just fucking fight bum after bum. What the fuck? You keep fighting good fighters, not ducking them. You act like if you say it like if he fought Tank, that's it. He's done. Line up them fucking tomato cans. Fucking double standards, man. People fucking hate on certain fighters when they fight badass fighters one after another, and then they got a favorite fighter of their own, and they just bring up that one good fighter they fight, and then I forget the other tomato cans. Jose Benavidez won't be effective or nothing. He's garbage. Jose Benavidez Jr. is garbage. He wouldn't be good at 160, and he fought at 160. His last fight before this one, when he fought Danny Garcia, he got a gift draw. Jose Benavidez Jr. is fucking garbage. Yeah, soft to wash. Yeah, that's good. He's got to represent the raza. Yeah, he's representing both razas, Ecuadorians and Mexicans. He ain't Mexican. He's American. Yeah, who was Daniel Dubai's next opponent? Yeah, we'll see, man, because now he's a WBA world champion, the secondary title regular, so we'll see. It doesn't sound like he wants to fucking fight the rematch against. He hasn't been talking about what's his name, the one that beat him. Fuck, I forgot his name. The one that just fought, the one that's gonna fight Parker next. Joe Joyce. Like, you saw that, man? Like, he got his ass whooped by Joe Joyce, and he doesn't really mention that fucking name anymore at all. Like, wouldn't you want that fucking rematch? Like, he's always talking about something else here and there, other plans, and then but Joe Joyce is tied up now. He's gonna fight Joseph Parker, but yeah, Daniel Dubai, he's a good opponent. I like him. We'll see who he fights next. I'm just disappointed. Why don't you fucking call for that rematch, Joe Joyce? Like, damn, you that scared? Like, damn, you were doing good until that fucking night shut down. So Oh well. As long as when somebody's like they don't want that rematch, they didn't like that feeling, that loss. As long as they don't keep talking out of their ass and talking shit about that opponent or using excuses, I'm good then. So Daniel Dubai, yeah, he's not mentioning Joe Joyce. I guess he doesn't want it. He took that loss. Oh well, that's it. So yeah, I guess I'm being too critical. Yeah, Daniel Dubai versus Deontay Wilder, that would be good too, but I don't think so. Like they're carefully gonna move him around now. Daniel Dubai, he rebounded from that fucking big loss against Joe Joyce, and now he became a world champion, the WBA regular. So I don't think they're gonna throw him in there with Deontay Wilder. Fuck no. Deontay Wilder could fucking ruin your fucking plans. He could ruin your plans. Even, with inactivity, look like he hasn't fought in a while. He's trying to get back in there. Even that kind of Wilder will ruin your plans. Yeah, Daniel Dubai is still very young, Suleiman is saying. Maybe Deontay would have problems, but I mean, you're saying that Deontay would have problems, but I think this is it. Maybe we don't know what Wilder we're gonna see. What if he did get affected by the fucking fights against Fury? He took a beating. He dished it out too. He had fucking Fury all over the fucking canvas and all those fights, except for the first and the third one. But he took a beating too. So is he gonna still be the same? We don't know that yet. So you're saying that maybe because you think that Deontay Wilder's going to have problems with Dubai, because maybe you're banking on the fact that maybe he's going to be on his way out now. Wilder downhill, he's not going to look the same anymore. If that's the case, then I agree with you. Then maybe it is going to be too much of a problem for him. But that's if. What if Wilder didn't lose a step and he's still the same? And he's still got that fucking power. And he's still got that punch resistance. Because look at all that shit he went through with fucking Fury, and that motherfucker was always still coming and coming. Even in that second fight where they stopped it, the fucking when they threw in the towel, that motherfucker was still going like a fucking Terminator. So you know what I mean? Are we gonna see that kind of Wilder? If we see that Wilder, that same Wilder that did not lose a step, nah, I think he knocks out fucking Dubai. But if not, if he did lose a step, then yes, then maybe, yeah, Dubai would outwork him, out hustle him. Who knows? We don't know. It all depends on what Wilder we are going to see. That's what it comes down to. Nothing else. Yeah, and Joe Joyce is old, but he's not fighting like he's old. He was already old by boxing terms when he beat Dubai, when he did that to Dubai. He's one of those guys that came in to the he's blossoming late. So he hasn't taken a beating. He ain't got too much mileage on him. He takes care of himself. You see him, he's always in good shape for a big guy. He's old by boxing terms, but he is not looking old when he fights. So you're saying that most likely will knock out Dubai will knock out Joe Joyce? If that was the case, he would be calling for that fight. Dubai did not like something. He made him quit, man. He fucking broke his eye socket and all that shit. And I don't know. I don't know if you've seen those fights, man, by Dubai. By Joe Joyce, still fucking looking good. He ain't looking old. And now he got a test coming up because he got Joseph Parker. So yeah, you'll see. I don't think he's not fighting old. He's not looking old. And yeah, Suleiman is saying Blair Cops looked very strong last night. Well, yeah, I got to see the fight because other people are saying that it was Maurice Hooker that did not look good at all. So yeah, I got to see the fight. Suleiman is talking about I should apply for a co-host position at the Boxing Boys in Las Vegas. Man, that would be nice, man. I'm a big ass fan of fucking the Boxing Boys, but nah, they doing good. They doing good. That's a good combination what they got right there, man. The Nestor, Nestor, and the other the chubby dude, the Mexican dude, Latino dude. I don't know his name. They got a little chemistry right there going, man. Look like they're clicking because that was always different hosts with the Boxing Boys. I remember they always had so many different hosts. This one's good, but yeah, that's a good combination right there. I'm a big fan, man. Shout out to the Boxing Boys.